Let's go. Let's go. So, you guys, when I say you guys, I mean my week 8 people, you have an advantage. And it's not just because you guys are super smart and because you're hardworking, but a lot of the times, the stuff that you see in class, you are going to have seen it before other fourth graders. So in my Fantastic Five, guys, I try to pre-teach or give you a preview of some of the things that you're going to see down the road. And today is a perfect example of that. All right, so there are some fourth graders who are for the very first time today on Wednesday learning about prime and composite numbers. If you have been following the Fan 5 videos that I've been providing you for the past 3 days, you essentially already know what a prime number is, what a composite number is, and how you figure that out. Now, we'll still go through the definitions. I'd still like you to pause the videos and maybe write them down in your notebooks because they're helpful just to have, because I'll give you some examples also that you can jot down. But I really like that we're doing this today because it's also a really, really good review for what we did yesterday with factors, because obviously the factors are important when it comes to determining whether a number is prime or composite. So when we're talking prime numbers, again, same definition I've been telling you in the videos. It's just a number that has exactly 2 factors. And we know that those numbers or those factors, are always going to be 1 and itself. And the misconception is that if a number is odd, people automatically think, oh, it's a prime number. Not the case. And I'll show you examples. But for some examples on there, where's my marker? Some you might want to put on there. You can put 3. Or honestly, a lot of people also think that an even number can't be prime. But I mean, if you look at 2, I'm struggling with my marker. The only way you can get 2 is 2 times 1. That's it. So 2 is a prime number. 3 is a prime number. All you can do is 3 times 1. 5 that's an awful 5. 5 is a prime number. 7's a prime number. 11's a prime number. 13's a prime number. Most of those numbers are odd, but don't automatically look at an odd number and think that it's prime. So we've got those definitions. We know a prime number only has 2 factors. And then we looked at the flip side. If it's got more than 2 factors, we've got that as a composite number, which you have that definition right here. And just because a number is even doesn't automatically make it composite. 2 would be your example there. But obviously 4 would be composite because I could do 4 times 1. I could do 2 times 2. 6 would be composite. I could go 6 times 1, 3 times 2. 8 would be composite. I can go 8 times 1, 4 times 2. 9, that is an odd number. Still composite though. 1 times 9, 3 times 3. 10, you can do 10 times 1, 5 times 2. And I'm going to skip a couple. I'm not going to go directly in order here. I want to give you another example of an odd number. Guys, I could have 15. I could have 21. Because for 15, I can do 15 times 1, 5 times 3, composite. And 21, I can do 1 times 21, 7 times 3, also composite. So I think you got a pretty good grasp on, is a prime number, or is a number prime? Well, you got to know it has 2 factors, 1 in itself, and then a composite number has more than 2. I think the only reason why we may have troubles with this is because we're not great with our multiplication facts yet. So yesterday when we were working on finding factors, though, we worked on a strategy that we could use, listing all the factor pairs, making the factor rainbows, and using the calculator. That makes it so much easier. That calculator ought to be your best friend. And again, people, I know I failed y'all. I didn't have you bring your calculators home. You've got access some way or another to get a calculator. So what I want to do is, can I clear all this off? What I want to do is we're going to look at maybe 3 or 4 of these where I just want you to watch. If you want to stop and take notes, you're more than welcome to do that. But then I'm going to give you a couple of chances where I want you to pause the video and I want you to see if you can figure this out on your own. So starting with a smaller number, finding all the factors for 8. So great review of what we talked about yesterday. And I'm going to start with the first factor pair that you always should, 1 times the number itself, 1 times 8. All right? Then I would try 2 because I'm going to go in order, and I know 8 is an even number. If I didn't know 2 times something to give me 8, okay, I could list my multiples, 2, 4, 6, 8. Or I could take that 8, divide it by 2, and see how many times it goes in evenly. Either way you do, you get 4. And that right there shows me whether or not it's prime or composite. Now, if you wanted to, you could do your factor rainbow. It doesn't really help you for these questions, more so just for finding factors. But if this one was asking me if it was prime or composite, well, it's got more than 2 factors. That one would be composite. All right, so let's look at the next one. Maybe. A little bit of a bigger number here, and just because it's odd means nothing. You still need to try to find the factors. And I think it's so easy to miss these questions if you're lazy, but it's so easy to do it if you have the calculator. So I'm going to start with the first factor pair, 1 times 27, most important. Now, you could try to, but don't waste your time. 27 is an odd number, which means we know it's not going to be divisible by 3. But look, you still got to keep trying. So I would then try 3. If you don't know 3 times something to get 27, list your multiples or divide. Take the 27 and divide it by 3. Either way you do it, it goes in evenly, or you would land on 27 with your multiples if you did it 9 times. Yikes. Now look, technically you're still not done. Once you got here, you still got to try the numbers in between. You still need to try 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And it's so quick to go 27 divided by 4, 27 divided by 5, any number that falls in between those. Now, it's going to turn out that none of them work, but still, if I want you to list all the factors, I want you to try to find them all. Now, if the question is just asking prime or composite, you could stop right there because you already see it has more than 2 factors, which would make that one composite as well. All right, clear that out. Do 2 more, I think, 2 more together. So let's find all the factors for 24. First factor pair is going to be the same every time, 1 times the number itself. I would definitely try 2 here because 24 is an even number. If you didn't know, divide, use a calculator or list your multiples. Either way, I'd get it to be 2 times 12. Still got to try all those numbers that fall between 2 and 12. So I would try 3. 3 times something is going to give me 24. Either list your multiples or divide 24 by 3 to see how many times it goes in, and it would be 8. Still not done, y'all. Try every number between 3 and 8. 4, 5, 6, 7. If you tried 4, 4 times something does give you 24. If you don't know, list your multiples or divide, but you would get 6. Technically still not done because there is a number that falls between 4 and 6, which is 5. You couldn't multiply 5 times anything to get 24. So I've got all my factors. Now you got to decide if it's prime or composite. Very clearly has more than 2 factors, which makes it composite. So far, they've all been composite. One last question we'll do together, and then I'm going to want you to pause a couple times. Find all the factors for 5. First factor pair we would try is, or we would have, is 1 times 5. Wouldn't waste your time with 2 because it's not an even number. You could try 3 and 4, but 3 times nothing would give me 5. 4 times nothing would give me 5. Got all my factors. There's only 2, 1 and the number itself. That would make that one prime. So again, I think you know the definitions. I think the reasons why you'll miss this question is you're either not finding all the factors or you're not using the calculator. It's so easy for people to stop short and not try every single number. But I think if you got the calculator, we should be able to knock those out. All right. How many did I have for you to do on your own? 1, 2, 3. All right. So you'll pause the video. Really, the important part today is you're trying to tell me if a number is prime or composite. Now, I still want you to be able to find all the factors. So you'll pause the video, list all your factor pairs, tell me if it's prime or composite, press play, come watch me go back over it. So if you listed all of the factors correctly, you should have had 1 times 18, should have had 2 times 9. You should have had 3 times 6. Those are your 3-factor pairs, which would have led you to tell me that it's composite. So if you're getting the prime or composite part right, awesome. That's the goal today. If you're getting all the factors on there too, even better. That's my hope. All right, give you another chance here. Same deal, pause your video, use your calculator, decide if it's prime or composite, come back and watch me go over this one. So if you did all your factors for 23, you would have had 1 times 23, and that's it, guys. That would have been a prime number. Now, once you do 1 times 23, you've got to try quite a few numbers. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've got to try a lot of those numbers. But if you have the calculator, it makes it a little bit easier. That's an example of a prime number. And last, but certainly not least, why am I struggling? Last one, find all the factors for 33. List them, prime or composite, and then come back and watch me go over it. All right. Should have had 1 times 33. You should have had 3 times 11. That's it, which would have made it a composite number. So guys, hopefully you're using the calculator. Hopefully you're using those strategies that I told you about, either listing multiples or dividing with the calculator. This next slide that you see here, I'm going to be using this in class for question of the day. What I'll tell you is, if you email me, 1, 2, 3, there's 5 of them. If you email me 1 through 5, and you don't have to tell me all the factors. All you have to do is tell me if the number is prime or composite. If you tell me whether or not these are prime or composite and you get them all correct, I will give you 10 tickets, because I'm going to make this worth 10 tickets in class. So I'll give you 10 tickets if you email me your answers for these specific questions. I hope this was informative. I think it was more or less a review of just factors, because you didn't learn much with prime and composite. You've already been doing that in Fantastic 5. This video should help you with your assignment, though. It's fairly quick, but I don't want you to rush. Factors, calculator, multiples, and then you're just going to decide if numbers are prime or composite. So I'm looking forward to hopefully getting some emails. Hopefully I'm getting way more than I got yesterday, because some people just flat out didn't watch the videos, at least from start to finish. Hopefully that gets a little bit better. But keep studying those flashcards, and I promise you this stuff will get way, way easier. All right, guys, rock and roll.